Hey, what's up everybody? Let's talk about the fear of actually getting a hold and starting a credit repair journey on your own, and why you might actually be potentially scared to pursue the credit repair journey, and some of the lessons that will help you overcome that fear and the feel of being scared of getting rejected by the credit reporting agencies who are responsible of putting those negative items on your reports, and how to overcome that. So this real topic is a real issue, right? The reason why I say that is because I've seen a lot of customers and some people listening to my videos are looking for direction in reference to the first few steps to take when it comes to fixing their credit. And a lot of these steps, when I look at the situation that they're in and some of the things that they're trying to do, is actually holding them back. You know, the actions that they need to take, the things that they actually have to do, they're being held back because of concepts of fear, the thinking and the thought of being rejected by the bureaus for requesting to remove certain negative items because first and foremost they're misleading, or perhaps potentially you're trying to increase your score so you can qualify for funding. And feeling the level of rejection and being hopeless, that's probably one of those things that we kind of visualize, right? And we kind of feel before we even take the first steps of actually getting across that. And those are some of the things that are holding us back, although it is not real yet. And even if it were to be real, even if it were to be a situation where you actually got rejected and you cannot qualify for financing and you're not able to move forward because the credit bureaus decided not to make the change happen, it's not the end all be all. We're not finished yet. This is just the first step. This is the first move you made on the game of chess. So I want you to think about that. And the end result is, even if it were a game of chess, you'd still win at the end of the day. So imagine if, of the whole situation of credit bureaus and reporting and how your reports comprise of the data it consists of as a game of chess, but inevitably you still become the winner. And the reason I say that is because, okay, well, we're going to take certain things and implement certain strategies to actually get the results and outcomes. And within that time frame, there are certain limitations in terms of how long they can report. So that's an instant win. There are limitations in terms of how they can report. So that's an instant win. So there's so much things that actually favor you rather than go against you if you start the journey on credit repair. You see, a lot of people feel like, oh my God, I did certain things and it's negative, and I'm now I have to wait for such a long time to even start doing anything with my credit. And actually that's the worst thing you can think about, because that itself is a rhyme for reason of fear that's holding you back from potentially moving forward with some of the steps that you absolutely need to take. You cannot hold yourself back from doing the things you need to do to fix your credit. So let's go over a strategy and a roadmap to move you away from that fear, to actually getting you started on the journey, to actually getting you positioned so that you can start doing the things you need to do to improve your credit, but more importantly, get the financing or whatever deal structures that you want to get done, leveraging your personal credit. I'm going to give you 5 steps. First one, and the most important one, is think of fear like nothing more than just a road bump in your journey that you have to just simply get out of your car and move the branches away from the road so you can drive smoothly. That's all it is. There's nothing complicated about that. And in essence, this metaphor, you can typically say that it is something that is going to keep, boggling down your mind. It's going to stop you from thinking positively. It's going to cause harm in the ability for you to actually progress. So the first step is to get rid of that fear. And it's not going to be instant. That fear is not just going to rid itself in a matter of thinking over a night or over a few minutes. It's going to take some time. But being uncomfortable in essence to getting rid of that fear, that's the first step. So understand that credit repair is going to be uncomfortable, but also the fear has to go. So you have to get out of your car, move those branches away from the road and drive off. That's the first thing you need to do. Just do it, right? Second point here on the 5-step sequence is understand how to read your reports. The reason why we're scared is because sometimes we don't know what's going to happen. The most, human condition, the most evident one is the condition where we are scared of the unknown. It is a natural thing, and that holds us back, and we think of so much different possibilities that are yet not real. But to be comfortable and to be in a position where you actually turn that unknown into a fact and a known territory, in addition to how to navigate that space, that's where you're going to actually be able to move forward with your journey on credit repair. So the second step is turn your unknowns into facts and known territories. And the way to do that is learn to analyze your credit reports. There's literally hundreds of videos on this channel. I've put over a dozen of them that explains deep down on some of the strategies that you can deploy. But I also explain to you on what to look for on your credit reports. That's the important thing here. So first, move away from your fear. Second, learn to analyze, turn those unknowns into knowns and facts so that you can get comfortable around understanding credit reporting. The third step in this 5-step sequence is to understand on what specifically you need to do for each individualized items. This is important because understanding how to read your reports is going to position you to be comfortable around what you will need to do. The third is basically understand what you need to do specifically for each type of category of items, right? And the reason I say that is because if you don't do that, and if you don't really strategize around a specific type of item and how it should be handled, you're going to be treating everything like a templated situation. And I've been always pushing this concept, and I was telling people on this channel, and I share it consistently, is the bureaus have a tendency of kicking back generic responses. They always say that, hey, we're not very understanding of what you're asking us to do. It's not specific. So if you need assistance, give us a call. Or they say stuff like, hey, this looks like a credit repair template from an organization. You can actually do this for free. And you get these generic kickbacks that are absolutely destructive to your process. So to prevent that in totality, understand the attack strategy for each individual type of items, what you're looking for in that item, and knowing what specific information that you need to use in those documents that you're going to be sending out to the credit reports and the credit reporting organizations. That's the third step. The fourth step is understand the game plan and timelines that you're working with. Now, obviously knowing your reports and understanding the individual type of accounts and how to handle them is very critical, but also understand the laws and rules around timelines and the game plan in order to make sure that whatever it is that you're challenging is going to come off. And that game plan requires you to understand and think clearly about the next 2 to 3 moves that you'll need to make instead of waiting for a response, right? Like they say in chess, think 16 moves ahead. Think, 6-7 steps ahead. Now, most of you guys will say, well, Ali, that's kind of difficult because we're not strategists and we're not meant for doing that because we don't really understand on what we're going to expect. And the reality is there's kind of a predetermined way of understanding what you're going to expect because of just the way situations are. And the reality is it can go either way. It can go in a way that it favors you and you're actually getting the outcomes that you need, or the other way is they say it's not working, and that's where the fear happened initially. You're starting to see that, and you're starting to realize that, hey, my fears are turning into reality and the credit bureaus are not budging and I'm not getting the results that I want. In those instances and those situations, it's the time to even be more persistent, because if you understand the game plan, if you understand how to read the reports and you learn to treat each individual items and the way to attack those individual items in a very specific strategy meant for those items, the fourth and final point is really to be perseverant and be consistent with your attack strategy and continue on by ensuring that if you ask the right type of questions on step 3, and if the bureaus fail to answer, then you have to send the same copy of the letter that you sent to the bureaus initially to those same perpetrators and creditors that are misreporting inaccurately, a copy of the same, and subsequently in that document attach a very simple document stating that did the credit bureaus make effort to communicate with you about this? Have they communicated with you about the specific item that I'm challenging? In most instances, what's going to happen is the creditors are going to make that adjustment. And if you send the same copy again to the credit bureaus with the additional attachment that you just created, which is a fourth point, it's persistence and perseverance, what's going to happen is they're going to fight each other on this. The credit bureaus and the creditors will communicate with one another. There's going to be a lot of information to deal with. And in most instances, I've seen customers get outcomes right there and then. But let's assume that doesn't work and they're basically being negligent. It's going to be happening. This level of negligence is going to be even more so evident in times like these. Then we go to our fifth and final strategy, and it's get the appropriate government agencies that are geared to helping consumers protect their rights, specifically in your home territory, the Attorney General's office. That's a very good one. Now, I've seen a lot of customers say that the Attorney General's office, the response that they're giving is not very nice. It's not convenient. They're saying that they're only responsible to communicate with the bureaus. Don't let that be the end all, be all. You have to consistently communicate with them and explain to them the situation. The communication is not sufficient, that you as a customer and you as a citizen, specifically living in that state, need a service that's supposed to be geared towards providing and protecting its citizens. and you want to make sure that's being done. So communicate your concerns. Don't give up just because you get a generic response. The same thing with the bureaus and the same thing with the creditors. The minute you give up on that is the minute you're going to start getting no outcomes. You're never going to move forward with your journey. So I think that those 5 steps alone, if you follow them very correctly, if you implement the strategies like this, there will be no fear whatsoever for you to continue and start at least your credit repair journey so you can move forward with the things you have to do. So one more time, let's go over these 5 steps. The first one is move away from the fear that you have. It's not real. Get out of that car, move the branches away from the road, and drive off smoothly. Second point we talked about is understand what you're looking at. Learn to analyze your credit reports. The more you learn about that, the more educated you're about it, the better off you are. Third, analyzing is great, but also know what specific type of strategies for each individual type of account that you're going to be using when it comes to challenging that, right? The fourth one we talked about is be perseverant. Don't just take an answer from the bureaus. Communicate with the creditors as well this time around and explain or ask them, did the bureaus initially go ahead and reach out to them because they have a reasonable investigation they have to conduct, which includes ensuring that the creditors receive initial forms from the credit bureaus, which are the ACDV forms, to them in reference to an investigation. If not, then these creditors can now send a copy to the bureaus to ask about that initial copy of investigation, and the bureaus also will get a same copy of the letter you sent on your second round with an additional attachment that now they'll have to communicate with each other. It creates a gridlock. And the fifth and final point, like I said, is communicate with the agencies within your state as a citizen of that state and request that you're rightfully protected as a consumer, because you have the right to be protected, and be persistent if you're getting generic answers, because we don't give up here. Okay, so those are the 5 things I want you to do to at least start your credit repair journey if you're scared of starting, or if you're being held back because you're creating fears in your head that are not real. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button for me. Don't forget to subscribe and turn the notifications on. Every time you smash that like, what happens is YouTube pushes out my content to other people such as yourself, who are learning about personal credit and evolving your knowledge in reference to fixing your credit so you can move forward. Don't forget to share this video with those going through a journey, or perhaps are scared of starting their journey and haven't started it yet, but are creating all sorts of fictitious, scary things in your minds. I think this video will help them clear that out. And if you have a specific comment in reference to the steps that I just described, or you're not sure about what to do, or you just want some clarity, leave it in the comment below this video so that we can have a discussion. And with that said and done, this is definitely your guide and mentor, Untitled Chapter. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now.